Hi there, how you doing? Yeah, so as a Presbyterian, I was saying, may the peace of the good Lord be with you. So I have a message for you, and I'm trying to say it as it is without putting myself in it because, I'm just only human. So the message is very simple. God is tolerant. Christianity is tolerant. Simple. Now, I'm going to say in the past weeks, for some time now, I've been seeing some debate ongoing, and then there's been a lot of questions. There's been a lot of questions posed to as believers, Christians, from people who say there is no God and this God is a foreign God, was introduced to Africans, including us Ghanaians, and then we bought into it, so they don't believe. And then I see some of my people, fellow Christians, for some reason trying to defend the gospel, trying to defend the word, trying to make these people understand that there is indeed God. Now, it is good to defend Christ because he said we are ambassadors of God, as is quoted in 2 Corinthians 5 verse 20. Yeah, so we just have to be careful in how we approach the whole situation. Now, for someone to say there is no God, it means maybe they were not born into Christianity. Maybe they were Christians, but then they face trials, they face tribulations. They've gone through something that in that process, when they were still believers of God, the Almighty, the one and only true God, they expected Him to come to their aid. Now, let me give you an example. For a woman who's prayed for her husband to get well, full recovery, because in the word, by His stripes you are healed, having to believe, having to trust God, all their lives they've served God, and then to believe to the last point, and in her mind, her partner died, so maybe God is not real. Maybe God does not listen to prayers like she's been told. Maybe this was what she needed to confirm her faith that indeed God listens to her prayers. And then ordinarily, in her mind, in her understanding, God did not come to her rescue. So, there is no God. You get what I'm saying? Someone who might be hoping, just doing right, doing everything possible. Now they go through life tribulations, like something which is so dear, something that is crazy, and then they don't have anybody. They go through it alone. Maybe the church did not come to their rescue. Maybe the people who pose themselves as Christians, God did not come to their rescue. And then after all this, it's like, you know what, let me just be myself. Let me just believe in the universe. Let me just speak things and not even say that there is God. Because if there is indeed God, why haven't I experienced the person? Now, we Christians on a normal day, some of us might get agitated, but then the God we serve is a tolerant God. Remember the encounter of Jesus when he was being arrested for crucifixion. Now, one of the disciples, Peter, cut somebody's ear, and then God was like, you don't retaliate with that. So most of us are getting it wrong. So the simple and short of my message is that God is tolerant. Christianity is tolerant. So if you come across a post on social media, which I've seen many, where someone is saying, oh, there is no God, my mother has been through it, maybe a false preacher has defrauded us, we have been through it, we have seen worse, and then, based on that, they're saying that there's no God. You have to understand, because they haven't encountered our God. Now, with me, I was in my 20s when I first encountered God, and from that time till now, I have encountered Him multiple times. I have felt Him, I have experienced Him. He's done so many wonders in my life. So with me, I have tasted the goodness of God. So if someone who hasn't tasted the goodness of God is saying there is no God, you have to be tolerant. You have to find a better approach. You get what I'm saying? Because you might say that, you might want to be an ambassador of God. And so when someone puts up a post that, there is no God, then I see a section of Christians come to say that you don't know what you are saying. This is foolish talk. This is that. God has not employed you as His spokesperson in that way. We have been commanded to be good ambassadors, right? So imagine the job that you work with right now. when there's an issue, the company will sit down, leaders, and then they'll draft something and then they'll bring a press release. Now, imagining you who's working with the company just comes out and say, oh, this is what my company stands for. The company might even fire you and say that we didn't ask you to represent us. So let's be very careful when it comes to representing God, because it's in the Bible that if man and man you have an issue, all right, it is God who intercedes. So if you have an issue with God, who is going to intercede on your behalf? Because what you say or do might be a deal breaker, might even affect the person's belief that, of course, Christians, they are this, they are that, they don't show love. God is love. So if you want to approach somebody who says they are an unbeliever, the best approach is to be tolerant. Try to understand them from where they are coming from. Because, for instance, let me just say, I love mashed potato and lamb. So for some time now, every restaurant I go to, what they say is no good. And yet, the taste is bad. Until I went to Tolerant, and then the taste was so good. Now I tell myself, now I'm the one who is going to tell other people that, oh, I know my friend who loves mashed potatoes, but everywhere she's been to, she doesn't like it. So now I'm going to do the recommendation that, oh, you should go to Tolerant. So when they go there and they confirm that indeed the mashed potato is good, then that's it. Then they go there to eat all the time. So if you have somebody who is saying that, oh, they don't believe in God, what you have to do as a believer is to set a good example. No, now it's in the word that, what's it? So Presby, we have a hymn say, Assembly me, I did be a me, be some maybe says in a coupon say a bayana. Yeah, it's one of my favorite hymns. So before you want to address somebody who is coming off as a non-believer, you should sit down, pray to God and ask God, how do I go about it? Because these people who say they are not believers, they are talking from experience that they have felt, and how do we say it? Things that they have seen, watching a family die, watching somebody, imagine you having your grandmother who's taking care of you for so many years, and just when you succeeded in life, you want to take care of her, she dies. You call it very unfortunate, and maybe that death was so painful. Now, everybody grieves differently. I remember when my dad died, like my mom, my brother especially, they were so heartbreaking because they went through it. For some time, you can say our faith was shaken, right? But then, at that time, you are, allowed to, feel a little bit disappointed, but do not be discouraged. You get what I'm saying? So in that phase, if you don't get somebody to tell you about the love of God to encourage you, that is when you move and say there is no God, because we all grieve differently. So these people, some of these people who are saying they are unbelievers, trust me, they were Christians. They were born, they were baptized, they knew God, but some of these life tribulations led them into being unbelievers. So if you experience somebody like that on social media, don't go under their post and say you are very foolish, you don't know what you are talking about. You are talking against my God, and then now you are being intolerant, now you are being violent, you are saying things which is filthy. But even our God, he had to go through it. So if you really want to be an ambassador of Christ, you have to show love. You have to be very welcoming. You have to be tolerant. Because trust me, I'm a Christian. If I go to an Arab country and they say, oh, you have to dress like this, you don't have to show cleavage, as wise as I am, which the Bible says we should, I will obey them. I'll wear all the cover clothes and all that. But in my secret, when I go into my room, I will pray. I'm not going to forsake my God because I'm in a country who they don't believe in my God. You get what I'm saying? He said, give what belongs to Caesar, and give what belongs to God, to God. So if you meet somebody on social media, if you ever have, a debate and people are saying, no, your God is not true, or God is not alive, what you have to do is to tell them your experience. Now, Paulina Dedo, I will tell you there is God because I have felt him. He's been with me when I was broken, when my dad passed. He was with us. He's taking care of us. There's been so many miracles. I can list a lot. So in order to be a good ambassador, you can start sharing text, because if we were all doing our path as Christians, this world could be a better place and would win more souls. If you even spend time dedicating your social media platforms to sharing Bible texts, to sharing testimonies, which we don't, you could even be the one to influence them to come to God. So it's not about castle, oh, you are not wise, these people are, no. Tell them how good God is. Tell them how Jesus loves them. So God is tolerant, Christianity is tolerant, and we have to be good ambassadors of God. God bless you.